Every time you go to work, you trade a piece of your life for money. An hour at work becomes dollars in your pocket. So in a simple way, money is stored time. If 1 hour of work earns you $20, that $20 represents 1 hour of your life. But what happens when that same $20 buys less than it used to? That is inflation. And that is why inflation can feel like it is stealing your time. A lot of Americans feel this now. They work hard. Their paycheck may even go up. But life still feels tighter. Rent feels heavier. Groceries feel heavier. Saving feels harder. So the real problem is not just higher prices. The real problem is this: your past work buys less in the future. That means the hours you already worked lose value after the fact. In this video, we will look at 5 simple ideas. Together, they explain why inflation feels personal. Not just as an economic issue, but as a system that slowly takes more of your life for the same basic standard of living. Think of money like a storage container. You put your labor into it today, so you can use it later. If that container becomes weaker over time, your stored effort leaks away. That is the deeper feeling behind inflation. You are not just paying more. You are often working more for the same result. The first idea is simple. A bigger paycheck does not always mean more progress. There are 2 ways to look at wages. Nominal wages are the number on your paycheck. If you get a 5% raise, your nominal wage went up. But real wages are what that paycheck can actually buy. And that is what matters. If your pay goes up 5%, but rent and groceries also rise 5%, you did not really move forward. If prices rise faster than your pay, you actually lost ground. So even when your paycheck looks bigger, your time can be worth less. You still worked the same hour, but that hour now buys less life. That is the first way inflation steals time. The second idea is housing. A home is not just a product. For most people, it is the biggest use of their lifetime earnings. And over time, the time price of housing has exploded. That means people now need far more work hours to afford the same kind of home. Years ago, a typical worker could cover housing with a smaller share of monthly work. Now that share is much bigger. So a larger part of your life gets locked into shelter. Not because homes became magically better, but because the cost rose faster than many workers could keep up with. When housing takes more hours, everything else gets squeezed. Savings get squeezed. Family time gets squeezed. Freedom gets squeezed. Inflation does not just raise the price of a house. It raises the amount of your life you must trade to live inside one. The third idea is education. For earlier generations, college was still expensive. But for many students, it was much more reachable through work. A summer job could cover a meaningful part of tuition. Today, that is much harder. Tuition rose far faster than low wages. So students now need far more work hours for the same education. That creates a hard choice. Work so many hours that school becomes harder. Or borrow money. But borrowed money is really borrowed time. Because after graduation, future work hours must go toward old debt. That means inflation can start before a career even begins. It can pull time out of adulthood before adulthood fully starts. The fourth idea is why inflation does not hit everyone the same way. New money does not enter the economy evenly. It enters at specific points first. Usually through the financial system, large institutions, and government spending. The people and organizations closest to that flow get access first. They can spend before prices fully adjust. Later, as that money spreads, demand rises. Then prices rise. By the time average workers feel it through slightly higher wages, many prices have already moved up. So the order matters. Some people spend earlier. Most workers pay later. That is why inflation often feels unfair. The people who live on wages and savings usually feel the squeeze last and hardest. And if you saved money over many years, inflation can quietly reduce what those saved hours are worth. The fifth idea is time poverty. When basic life gets more expensive, people often respond the only way they can. They work more. Extra shifts. Side jobs. Longer weeks. That may help in the short term. But it creates a second problem. Less free time. And free time matters. It is where recovery happens. It is where family life happens. It is where learning happens. It is where health happens. So inflation can create a double bind. You need more hours to survive. But the more hours you give, the less time you have to improve your future. That is why it can feel like running faster just to stay in place. Not only are you short on money, you are also short on life. When we connect these 5 forces, a bigger pattern appears. If wages lag behind prices, your work buys less. If housing and education absorb more hours, your future gets more expensive. If new money reaches some people first, the burden lands unevenly. And if you work more to catch up, you lose the time that could help you recover. So inflation is not just about prices rising. It is about the same human hour buying less shelter, less security, and less freedom than it used to. That is why prices can feel permanently higher. Because once more of life is claimed by basics, the system starts demanding more hours just to maintain the same baseline. Money is supposed to hold the value of your past effort. It is supposed to carry your work from today into tomorrow. When that value becomes unstable, life starts to feel unstable too. That is why inflation feels so personal. Not because numbers changed on a chart, but because the same lifetime buys less of a normal life. And when that keeps happening, people do not just feel poorer. They feel like their time is slipping away. This is Simplexplain. Complex ideas simply explained.